Cup champion Darren McCarty, the golden voice of Neil Rule, and the iconic Terry Foster. Sit back and relax. It's time for your daily dose of Big D energy.
Dropping the Hemi again on the pod, too. Welcome, Big D Energy Monday, December 26th. No, in Canada, it's Boxing Day. Thanks for joining us. I'm four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty, alongside my esteemed colleague Terry Foster, joined as always by Flannel Sam, Spencer Raxer. Guys, no Neil Rule today.
I know he's on hitting the
He
big
got
time
called
today.
up. We got called up. Absolutely, Sam Flannel. Not only a legend killing, but you're
not
making
to the final word.
Big things happen. Not to the
doing
final
the
word, Terry.
No,
Everybody out there. He didn't move shows. He will be, unfortunately, we wish Mark Champion, the voice of the radio for the Detroit Pistons, to get healthy. He's a little under the weather. So you will hear Neil Rule on the Detroit Pistons
My sources
radio
are telling
call.
me that someone spiked Mark Champion's eggnog. And it might have been Neil.
It was Neil.
Well, you know what? We're going to say allegedly on that, but Neil not here today, guys. He will be back in tomorrow, but if you want to catch him, Pistons are playing tonight. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about, obviously. No word of a lie. Lions fan, the bubble got a little bit of burst Saturday night. I hope that didn't ruin everybody's Christmas. So I want to do a little recap of Christmas just to start it out, because I think that that's the most important part. And I hope that, tell me in the chat there, did the Lions game ruin your Christmas, or were you able to enjoy it? Terry, how would you rank this Christmas weekend? I'm going to put the weekend,
it was
Friday,
lovely
Saturday,
for me.
Sunday.
And probably the most, the highlight was a few months ago, my mother-in-law died. And so what she did is she always planned to give Celine and my son Brandon a gift from her and her husband, or the grandfather, after they both passed away. And so Celine and Brandon were not expecting gifts from their grandparents, but it was a gift from their grandparents. It was signed and everything, and Celine cried. So that was probably the highlight for me.
That's awesome. Well, Spenny, you were throwing some pictures around. You got to, sometimes, and I don't know, I know that you didn't let the Lions' loss ruin your weekend. No. And I think that, the apparentness to what Terry said is that there's always a lesson. We're always looking for that hallmark moment, or the specialties of what the holidays are all about. And a lot of us, can relate to having Christmas this year without friends, family, loved ones in the past. But you got a different experience of why, I would call it the reality of why you work so hard at what you do.
Yeah.
How did you spend your weekend?
That's for sure. I spent my weekend, my uncle hosted Christmas at his house. This is a house he just built in Okemos. Bought 2 plots of land, built a house. Insane. Ridiculous house. And in his basement, he had a golf simulator with the full thing, with the tracking, the ball return, the automatic tees, and it has hydraulics on the mat to where it adjusts to your lie. So if you're hitting downhill, the back of it will come up. If you're hitting uphill, it'll go down. It'll angle to the lie. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
So did you even associate with your relatives, or did you just play golf the whole weekend?
No, I associated. We played some cards.
No, the best part, like Spenny, I think it's getting a little bit behind the curtain in the chat thread is that, I'm always asking you had some cocktails, you had a driver, you were over there doing shots with the grandparents, right?
Yep.
That's Grandma wanted to do tequila, so you're doing tequila.
Shot. Yeah, we did that.
But you realized a little bit of a drive from where you were, because I liked how you tell the people how you related from the Busch Light to the Blue Moon.
Yeah, it's, I've been I was in East Lansing for a long time, and I've been to a lot of keggers, and the difference between the 20 to 30 minute drive from Okemos to East Lansing is, in East Lansing, when you're at a kegger, it is Busch Light or Keystone or something like that. But at the Okemos party, they had a Blue Moon keg, and that was That was pretty dangerous.
Well, look at you. You know, I'm proud of you because here's the bottom line. You play hard, you work hard, you're here bright and early getting her going for everybody else. So, Flannel Sam, the big question. And you know what? I'm looking at the chat. One Life, One Chance said that the Lions game was ruined not because they lost, but the way we lost. We'll talk about it. We'll break it down. But I want to know, like the people want to know, how many flannels did you get this Christmas?
I got 7.
7 flannels.
7.
I didn't think that I would get that many because people know that I have a ton of them, but I just kept getting flannels from everybody. You know, my mom, my wife, my wife's family, my family, just everyone wanted to get in on the action and give me a flannel. And, of course, being Flannel Sam, that makes for about the best Christmas ever, right? Not even the Lions and that terrible performance can ruin a Christmas in which I get 7 new flannels. If you want to satisfy me during Christmas, just keep them coming. Keep the flannels coming, because eventually as ones sort of go out of style or get worn out, I just got some new ones to replenish the collection. So I'm
not to
very
be
happy.
rude, but I was laughed at when we said, how many flannels is Sam gonna get? And I said 8. That was pretty damn close.
Yeah.
You were pretty damn close, Terry. And that's it. And the beauty here, if you do not know, if you're a first-time watcher of Big D Energy or you're joining us in the chat thread, Detroit Dabber in first, good to see you. But is that Sam Flannel, right? Wears flannel every day. He's been challenged, and I do believe we're like at the literally the halfway point. Is today's 183, right?
Yes, we're just past halfway.
So stick around, tune into Big D Energy throughout the rest of this year, into the next year. You will be putting these new ones on display. Will you make it a point when you have the new flannel to let people know this is a Christmas flannel?
This actually is a Christmas
This
flannel.
is
I'll start out
actually
with
a Christmas
today.
flannel.
Yeah, you
with
got to do
today.
Christmas flannel the rest of the week.
I would, you know
So
what?
we'll know.
I am totally down for that. And I got some flannels, and I'll save them for next week, hopefully, that are in a special 2 colors. If you know me well enough, you might be able to figure out what they are.
All right, cool. Also, too, I want to know, what was the best? You mentioned that, Terry, the heartfelt and the family of making it. You said something before the show is that you can't watch TV with your wife anymore because it's all Hallmark moments, but it's
Right.
you're trying to get those moments. Another big thing is, does anybody get favorite gift? Favorite gift, something, favorite gift, or you gave somebody a favorite gift, you see somebody's face?
Yeah. My favorite gifts, if I'm being materialistic, were my brother got me these leather and cashmere lined gloves. They're like legit OJ gloves, and I love them.
All right.
And my mom got me a nice Michael Kors watch. But me and my other brother, he's been watching this anime. It's called One Piece. I'm really big into it, and he's been watching it, so he always texts me about it. And we both got each other stuff related to that show. And so, like, he opened his present, he's like, oh! And then I opened mine for him, it's like, oh! And so it was a pretty cool reaction.
What about you, Terry?
Well, maybe not the most special, but, Flannel Sam got 7 flannel shirts. I got a pair of flannel underwear.
You did?
Yes.
You did. Wow, Big Terry. So flannel, was there one specific flannel, or was it something else?
Actually, there was one gift that I even enjoyed more than the flannels, and this was from my wife, and it's for both of us. She got us tickets to see Joe Gatto, formerly of Impractical Jokers, in Kalamazoo, April 21st. He's both of our favorite comedians, so it's always fun, the gifts that are an experience that you can enjoy together, and that was my favorite one for sure.
See, that just lets me know that you're growing up. If I was going to say, one of the big things, I got Death Wish coffee, which is the strongest coffee on the planet. I love it, and with somebody,
And then I got to ask you, did you get a pair of hockey skates for Christmas?
You know what? Not this year, Terry. Not this year. What's it? I'm trying to think. I got this cool shirt, Santa's watches shirt. I thought I'd wear it today because to let you guys know, just because it's the day after Christmas, he's watching for next year. For all of yous out there, so
far I've been good for next year. It's only been one day.
Absolutely. So, hope everybody in here looking in the chat thread, Detroit Dabber 313 says, Sam, you would like Impractical Jokers. Well, is that like one of your favorites?
Oh, 100%.
So were you bummed when Joe left?
Oh, I was so bummed. I mean, everyone else is good on the show, Sal, Q, and Murr, but they all don't hold a candle to Joe Gatto. To me, he's the funniest man on earth right now. So very happy to see his stand-up show, and very, very sad to see him leave Impractical Jokers. It's never quite been the same without him.
Now, one of the other big things, too, is, so Terry, the one thing is that you said in talking to families, you were having your first bourbon with your son.
Yes.
How did that go?
It went fine. I'm trying to teach him to sip rather than gulp because kids are gulpers.
Right.
So I bought these little kits where I can make the ice balls.
Really?
And so the ice balls has the bourbon melt slower, and you get a better taste. So I was telling him to sip it, that we were trying to see what flavors you can surmise from the bourbons and stuff. So you did that and didn't throw up. So that was huge.
How was your viewing? Did you guys get into, or people in the chat thread, Christmas movies? Watch the same one. The one thing that I saw, you know what the big, and I saw a couple in person. I know a couple friends that got it, but the Griswold Chicago Blackhawks hockey jersey,
Yeah.
the 0-0. I watched, that's one of the ones we watched, Christmas Vacation. I watched a new one with Neil Patrick Harris. I hadn't seen 8-Bit Christmas.
Okay.
You guys haven't seen that about Nintendo? So were you into
I have
Christmas
not seen
movies? You
that.
get into that?
We watch the same Christmas movies on loop. At least my wife does, and I walk away from it after a while. But it's A Wonderful Life and A Christmas Story.
Well, the Christmas Story, Ralphie, is that not the classic? Would that be, I guess, which one gets more play at your house? Maybe what got more play? I know that on TBS it was on repeat, so if you left the TV on
24
and stuff
hours,
like
right.
that. But those, to me, the Christmas Story and Christmas Vacation are the ones you have to.
Yeah,
Is there any other Christmas movie that's
A Christmas Story reminds me of the way it was when I grew up.
Yes.
You know, you had the dad who was just excited about stupid stuff, and the parents trying to make sure, hey, look, it might be Santa, and they leave out the cookies for Santa, and I remember, you know, when ho ho ho, when Santa kicks the kids down the slide, that was hilarious. But that reminded me of when I used to go downtown, J.O. Hudson's. It was the same setup. You had this long line, and I remember a couple times I'm like, hey, this is a short line here. So I got in line, and someone said, hey, the line starts back here. It was almost like I was reliving my youth. But then you went to Santa, and first time I went to Santa, I was scared. I was petrified. You know, he's scaring ho ho ho.
You're like Ralphie's little brother.
Yeah, but they didn't have mean elves.
That
Like
throwing
they
you
did,
up on the
right.
thing, throwing
Right.
you down there.
Turning you around and
Maybe
stuff like
behind.
that. So it reminded me of the way things used to be. So
And
I
I think
enjoy that
you know
movie.
what? Maybe that's why to watch it back, because of the nostalgia of not only of like growing up in the 70s or you know, the 80s and stuff like that, where things were done a little differently, right? So, you know,
And-
everybody. I hope everybody had a healthy. Hopefully, you had a moment. You had moments to cherish the people that have passed. You know, I think that for everybody, it sounds like everybody had a pretty heartwarming Christmas and didn't let the Lions ruin it. So,
Lions can't ruin Christmas.
well, but that's what we've learned, right? So that's what I'm seeing here, and I'm seeing in the chat thread of watching Christmas movies all night long. I even see Alicia was playing Monopoly, which if you want to start a fight in a family, play Monopoly. So we're going to talk about the Lions when we come back, but this is Monday, December 26th, the day after Christmas. You might need some energy, Sam. Where are we going to go for that?
You'd obviously have to have a Cintron,
Ooh,
because
Cintron.
Cintron is the official energy
All right,
drink
all
of the
right.
Red Wings. Cintron has combined all three of their delicious flavors into a limited edition 6-pack sampler box. Try Cintron's great tasting cranberry, classic, and sugar-free all in one pack. Pre-order your Cintron 6-pack sampler box today at cintronworld.com/Red Wings. Get energized with Cintron, and let's go Red Wings.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs like Dan Campbell Kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Markets, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
We've been telling you about it for a while now. Our boy Ryan Ermanni and a former Lion Eddie Murray, former Piston Rick Mahorn. What are they doing together? Yes, Custom Health Centers. They are getting ahead of their health. Now, this isn't Ryan, but Ryan was down up to 20 pounds. Now, you'll have to update on the final word today because it is a holiday season. But Custom Health, because he's been doing it, Dr. Jason, and they have been helping. He's been putting the work in. If you want to put the work in, also give Custom Health a call today, 844-789-8446. They can help you on your way to better health. That's Custom Health, 844-789-8446. Welcome back, Big D Energy here on this Boxing Day. We should be able to see videos later this afternoon of all the little kids fighting in Canada.
Yeah, so what do you, Boxing Day, I thought it was just you returned all the gifts you didn't want.
Pretty much.
But you fight.
Well, no, that's a Canadian thing for the Canadian kids. They just throw them out. Did you actually see that? Did you guys see that? I don't have this little sidetrack, but there is somewhere. I got in a rabbit hole, but there's a day, and I don't know if it's somewhere in South America.
Oh, yeah.
But the grievances, you air your grievances, men, women, children, whatever. They go out there. They show pictures of them just square up fight, and then after they all get together and celebrate and drink to ease the pain. I think it said, but yeah, something along those lines.
Is that Festivus Day?
What's that?
Festivus Day?
I guess it's like a Festivus, a different kind of Festivus. You know what wasn't a Festivus? Was that Lions game on Saturday. So let's dive in. And you know what? I saw this in the chat and I wanted to bring it up, is that it wasn't a combination, right? Because as trucked as the Lions got and embarrassed as they got, guys, I got the numbers right here. You gave up 320 yards on the ground. You gave up 250 in the air to Sam Darnold, who at times looked like that high draft pick that he went. He looked like a world beater at times. But you gave up 570 yards. Terry, I'm going to say two names, and you tell me what college they played for, right? Dante Foreman and Chubba Hubbard. Do you know? Do you know those names?
Probably Coastal Carolina.
Do you know those names? I'm just bringing it up because, one of them ran for 165 and the other one ran for 125.
Hey, here's the surprising part to me. They shut down Saquon Barkley and in the cold.
Dalvin Cook,
but that was in the warmth.
Okay.
But the thing that surprised me about the Lions is I thought they played soft. They didn't want to hit. And even some of the Carolina players said that it's tough to hit people in the cold. It hurts to hit people in the cold, especially our backs. But their backs are like nobody's. So I was surprised by the way they lost, not that they did lose.
Well, if you watched that game and you were dialed in like I'm sure everybody else was that first play of the game, did anybody else like not only go, oh crap, but it was like it showed what the rest of the game was going to be like.
Right, it wasn't the first play for me. It was the second. Because I know you give up gash plays. When they gave up the second one, almost immediately, I'm like, they're in trouble.
So Terry, is this more so that this team has figured out a way, and obviously offense, like where, if you look at this game, what's the number one glaring reason that they lost? Because they played soft and obviously couldn't do the run, but is it more weather-based? Is this a team?
It shouldn't be, because they played the Jets in weather. They have to play Green Bay in weather. And I'm sure they're not going to get mollywopped like they did in Carolina. But, it could be just as simple as one team wanted it more than the other. And then in sports, sometimes you do read your press clippings or you hear what people are saying about you and you let up a little bit. In the NFL, you can't let up 2% because all these teams are even. The Lions in Carolina should have been like a 27-24 game where it's back and forth and you never know who's going to win until the end. And but this time it was like the Lions, they weren't the Lions of the last 5 or 6 weeks. And with the way Dan Campbell's run things and knowing the way these guys play, I never expected to look at a game and say, you know what, the Lions were soft. Because even when they weren't good, they weren't soft. I mean, they fight your ass right tooth and nail and then lose.
Like it was apparent that we could say right here that you got punched in the face on both sides of the ball. You look at not only that, but this offensive line that's supposed to be the monsters and stuff like this. What did we have running? Zero. Like nothing compared to what we've done before. Was it the ineptitude of the offense? Was it the fact that the defense couldn't stop anybody? Was it the fact of how important it is to win that turnover battle? You do not. You got to play. I think, Terry, what you're telling everybody is so true, is that these guys don't have any room for error. Right,
correct.
To lay off the gas, right? What did that game look like? That looked like them playing more of, if that was a Kansas City game or something, they sort of, the better teams, the San Fran's, they find a way out of it. But to your point, exactly, is they got punched in the face. Mm-hmm. Like embarrassed.
And again, and again, and again, and again. And they didn't really respond.
No. What was what aspect of the game, if you're Dan Campbell, going into this week, because obviously a must win, and I think as a Lions fan, we're more comfortable because they're coming back at home. We know that the offense operates better at home, right? But what's the message that you're getting across to your team?
The message is across the board, all of the above. Dan Campbell and the whole coaching staff needs to break down and revamp every position group, because every position group got embarrassed. This is not an offensive thing. It's not a defensive thing. It's everything happened with them. And but you can't overreact, though, because this is my philosophy about sports. Each game is an individual chapter. There's no carryover. So what you do is you take care of your business. You handle things in the room and reposition your team mentally. Because what I saw was this, you know what, guys, we don't really want to be here. We're here. But that's what I saw.
Isn't it the part of growing, though? So would you say that game is more to the immaturity and the growth of some of the younger guys when it comes down to it? I mean, obviously, Hutchinson's getting a lot of heat because, they really keyed in on him and he wasn't a factor in the game. Sam, I go to you. What was your biggest takeaway as far as, the Lions? For moving forward, what message that is the most important message that they get going into for the Chicago game this week?
I mean, unfortunately, my biggest takeaway is that I'm still very excited with how they've progressed, going from 3 wins to 7 with a chance at 9, with the improvement of guys like Penei Sewell and Amon-Ra St. Brown from good rookies to stars, with guys like Aiden Hutchinson, Kirby Joseph, James Houston, and Malcolm Rodriguez looking like they were hits in the draft. I'm very, very happy about all that. But the Lions did the one thing that they could possibly do to get me kind of pissed off again. They gave up the franchise record for the Carolina Panthers for rushing yards in a game. These aren't the Cam Newton, Jonathan Stewart Carolina Panthers. These aren't the D'Angelo Williams Carolina Panthers. These aren't the Christian McCaffrey Carolina Panthers. They gave up 320 rushing yards basically to Deontay Foreman, Chuba Hubbard, and Raheem Blackshear. That is unacceptable on so many levels. They got punched in the mouth. They got punked. They got their manhood taken from them. And that's one of those games where how can it not be a wake-up call? They had everything that they wanted right in front of them to possibly control their own destiny, run the table, get into the playoffs, and they blew that opportunity. Obviously, it's not over yet, but that's the type of performance that it takes away a lot of the goodwill for me that I had gained from them going 6-1. It's not all gone. That 6-1 stretch was very impressive, but that was just one of the worst performances I've ever seen by a Lions team.
What about you, Spence?
Yeah, it's tough. I'm not there yet. I still think there's a lot going on, and games like this in the NFL happen. It's hard to win NFL games. It's hard to win 9 out of 10 games, which is what the Lions were trying to do. You're going to get punched in the mouth every now and then, but you didn't expect it because, like Terry said, you shut down a guy like Saquon Barkley. You shut down a guy like Dalvin Cook, and then these guys go out there and they run all over you. So it's tough. It's tough to see a lack of adjustments when you're being destroyed and dismantled in the first half. It's tough to see your defense really not looking like it's there. It looks like they didn't get off the bus, So hopefully they'll come back. Hopefully they still have a chance if they win these last 2 games and one of the Commanders or the Seahawks lose a game, they can make it happen. But man, they had a golden opportunity with all of those other teams losing to kind of push themselves forward, and it just didn't happen.
Right, and maybe it was unrealistic of a lot of Lion fans to expect this team to win 9 out of 10 games. Remember, they were 3-13-1 last year. They were 1-6. You just don't win 9 out of 10 games. Something is going to happen along the way. And so I know people are disappointed, but this is the NFL where when you go out and play, basically these games are a coin flip. This was not a coin flip. The Lions were not prepared. And I don't know if you blame Dan Campbell. I don't know if you blame the atmosphere. But they were not prepared, and they were not mentally tough enough to overcome Carolina. Carolina's like, we here to take care of business. They're at home. I know it's the coldest. It was cold for them too. They don't like the cold. But like I said, if you're 2% off in the NFL, you can get your ass kicked.
You know what the beauty is though, with this Lions team, with Dan Campbell and stuff like this, even with this year, is that what was the other game that we really disappointing or whatever in New England? Which was the other one. I look for them to bounce back. Is it fair to say the disappointment that we had coming out of Thanksgiving in a different way? But now this one is more when you're looking in, because this is a sign of a good team too. When you can look in and go, you caused that. That's your own fault, not what the other team did to you, what you did to yourself and not being able. Now, give Carolina their flowers for having the great game plan, coming in and knowing that they needed it because they're also in a playoff hunt. But it's, to me, in the long run, this can be a great learning experience. We can learn back to it. And just like I saw, really, it didn't ruin my Saturday, right, until the Rams won. Until the Rams won. It was just sort of the combination, but that's the way it's going to be. Spenny, just like the way it's going to be when you want lunch, even today, where would you go?
You'd go to Cousins Maine Lobster, obviously, because Cousins Maine Lobster is what it's all about. Woodward Sports loves lobster, and what better way to get your fix than Cousins Maine Lobster? With 2 trucks rolling around Detroit, you can be sure to find the best lobster rolls, lobster tots, lobster tacos, and lobster grilled cheese to power through the day. Go to cousinsmainelobster.com to find out their daily schedule, or you can just scan that QR code right there and they'll show you where they're at around the city. So make sure you check out Cousins Maine Lobster.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Right now, no better time than the present to get Guardian Alarm. Whether it's for business or home, whatever you need, protected Guardian Alarm, they got your back. So give them a call, 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Now, with 7 brand new flannels in the collection, don't you think how imperative Guardian Alarm is in protecting them? How many straight days?
183.
183 straight days of flannel protection. Ain't stopping there. If you want that kind of protection by Guardian Alarm, give them a call, 1-800.
Stay out. Get out
Stay
of my house.
Zone, Justin Fields.
Got to keep those Bears out of the end zone. Guardian Alarm, local security experts, tell them Big D Energy, we sent you. Welcome back here, Big D Energy, on this Monday, December 26th, getting into the Lions talk and the disappointment of allowing the Carolina Panthers. You said it was Jonathan Stewart? No. Christian McCaffrey? No. Some Chuba dude and some Dante dude.
Yes.
Running it down. Anyways, Terry, in saying that, right? In saying that, there still is a chance. There still is a chance at 7-8 with 2 games left. Big game coming up against Chicago. You know what I realized Saturday night, guys? And I'm going to go to the clock.
Can't wait.
Because the clock, I realized a lot of things. But I'm going to go to the clock. Because you know what I realized, Sam Flannel? This isn't a clock. We have to let it run out. It's an oven. It's an oven. We have to. It's so important to let the recipe, right? Let all the ingredients. Because what happens, Terry, when you take it out of the oven early, say it's a cake or a pie, what happens to the middle?
Yeah, I know.
It's mushy.
Collapses.
Right? We wanted to eat early. We thought we could eat early. We were excited. We turned the oven light on. We looked. It was growing in there. It has to be ready, right, Ma? Grandma, can we get into it? No, we were all excited. No, guys. This is an oven. These last 2 games are imperative. The bottom line is this year, they've gotten better. There are ingredients. But, and I heard this from the esteemed Adam Baydoun on the Morning Wood, as he said this morning, and what he said, but the improvement is there, and all good teams, or all teams that are playoff teams, have holes. Now, it's imperative that we have holes. It's imperative that the holes are on the defense. Now, the offense has its moments. It's disappointing when the offense can't go out and win you a game, right? Like they have done at different times this year. But to me, guys, it is an oven. We have to wait. It's so much more imperative because, like I said, on Saturday night, Terry, yeah, it stung, but I wasn't going to let that game ruin my Christmas. But when the Rams did what they did and won that game, that's the one that hurt, to me, a little bit more. Did anybody else feel like that was a bit more of a stinger, like a kick in the plums?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I want Jalen Carter so bad. I want Jalen Carter so bad. And Russell Wilson being a complete disaster this year just pushes that dream further and further away. and it's hard to see. It really is.
You know, I'll be honest. I'm not thinking about the Rams. I don't care if they win or lose. The hell with them. I think the most important thing that you need to get out of this season is, can the Lions make the playoffs and learn what it's like to be in a playoff game? Those games are different. And I think it would be important for them to not worry about draft picks, but for the first time, be in a playoff game with these young guys, see how they compete in a pressure cooker situation, probably on the road. That's going to carry you further down the road than if the Rams give you the number 8 or the number 10 draft pick.
No, I totally agree with you, Terry, and I think that, more so too, a lot of what I see in the chat thread is talking about the weather. If they can't go into Carolina, and I see this, and play in that cold, or they come out in Jared Goff's coldest game I played, what's it going to be like in Lambeau in 2 weeks? But we can't get ahead of ourselves.
But fellas, it wasn't the weather. It was the team wanting, who was better than you that day, who just had more focus than you did, and want to kick your ass.
Is it fair to say that the Carolina Panthers did to you what you and your past little run have been doing to them? Punching them in the face every time we talk about them. Yeah, okay, they're ascending, they're getting better, but no one wants to play them. No one wants to play them. Well, Carolina proved that they could play them, because did they not do exactly what the Lions have been doing to other teams?
And I'm sure Carolina heard the whole, nobody wants to play the Lions, and that motivates a locker room. Like, okay, nobody wants to play them, we'll play them.
Well, athletes have pride.
Right.
Athletes have pride, and no matter what, and you look at all the different things. To me, what's more apparent, looking at the bigger picture, is Steve Wilkes and the job that he's done in term, not even there, but, getting shafted in Arizona, one and done and stuff like this. He's a good football coach, because how do I know? Because he had those guys ready to play. And to me, we're not even talking about Sam Darnold. Did anybody else be going, oh my gosh? Which leads me back to, how can we make Zach Wilson just sort of barely beat him and make him look like a first round draft choice, and then we make Sam Darnold look like that?
Lions have a history of losing to bad quarterbacks. That's just sort of what happens. But Sam Darnold, he was able to pass on them because Carolina was able to gash them on the run. If the Lions hold up on the run, Sam Darnold's not going to have a good passing game. But they were able to play action, and they were able to get behind the Lions secondary because, one, they had time, and two, you were trying to protect against the run, and you couldn't. That's, the NFL has so many moving parts, but there's one thing that's true. If you can't stop the run, you're screwed. Because if you can't stop the run, they're going to pass on you. If you can't stop the run, they're going to control clock on you. If you can't stop the run, your defense is going to be on the field more than you want it to be. And it was as simple as that.
Now, who do you hold blame to? Is this on the players? Is this on the coach? Is this on the, at the end of the day? Who do you put the blame of this game or for the effort?
I'm going to go players, because they played soft. And I am sure the Lions coaching staff coached them the same way. Like, we got to be tough. We got to do all this stuff. But when you don't want to hit somebody, then that's a problem. That's not coaches, because in the NFL, in any sport, in any team in football, they tell you we got to be tough. And even before the game, Dan Campbell said this is going to be a game based on toughness. Who's tougher? It's not going to be the pretty boy plays. It's not going to be how the quarterback plays. It's going to be who is the tougher team. Who wins the trenches.
And the imperativeness, right, is the fact that you have to be, are you a better, the conversation that before going into last game is that nobody was talking about, we can't win on the road. We can't be a road team because we had proven it. Are you still convinced that you can win on the road? Because in order for this team to be successful at all this year, they got to take care of the business on the road. Everything's going to be away from home other than the next game next week.
Yeah, I think that's why it's important for them to play a road playoff game. Whether it's indoors, outdoors, it doesn't matter. You're playing in a different atmosphere. Playoff games are different. None of these guys, well, a few of these guys have experience in that situation. I think it's important for them to play a road playoff game this year and get that experience, and then maybe they can play a home playoff game next year.
So I guess the big question is your confidence now? Where was it going into last weekend on the winning streak? Everybody was high. What's your confidence level now about this team making the playoffs? Now, some things went right, but we still need some teams to lose. The Seattles, the Washingtons, and stuff like that to be able to get in and take care of business. Did your confidence wane?
I think they have a very good chance to make the playoffs because you have to understand the teams around them are bad. These are teams, for the most part, stumbling down the stretch, except maybe Green Bay, and they're going to lose. Everybody around them is going to lose at least one game. So if you can take care of business, and that's a tall order too, because the Chicago game is one, you don't expect them to lose that one. But Green Bay, winning at Green Bay at the end of the season is going to be a bear. That's going to be tough because Aaron Rodgers is always talking stuff. Aaron Rodgers always gets his way. And so winning that final game, it's going to come down. Can you win a road game in the cold against Green Bay, against a nemesis, Aaron Rodgers?
What about your confidence level, Spenny? Where did it go from?
I mean, it took a little bit of a hit, but like Terry said, it's still very achievable, a very achievable goal, something that you can happen. It's right in front of you, and you need to take care of it. Just like we said earlier, it was a little crazy to expect a team to win 9 of their last 10 games. That doesn't happen in the NFL very often unless you're a fantastic team. And this Lions team is good, but they're not on that level yet. So hopefully that they can go out there, take care of business at home against Chicago, and then it's a showdown in Lambeau in the frozen tundra.
Even that, Sam, as far as them losing, but Terry brought up a good point too. We've seen what the Packers doing Packer stuff, and they're like, where is your confidence in them? I guess getting the playoffs to winning in his last 2 games.
I mean, the funny thing is, before that game, my confidence was obviously sky high, as was, I think, everybody in this room, everybody at this network. The problem is when the Lions lose a game like they did, it's not that they lost, it's how they lost, being outrushed 320-45, just being completely and utterly dominated, one of the worst losses I've ever seen from a Lions team. That's the type of thing where I need to see how they respond against the Bears before I feel confident, because an SOL type team would lose to the Bears. But if the Lions go home, play Chicago, leave no doubt, beat them, then I'll be confident again, because everything they want is still out in front of them. That's the message that needs to be delivered to the Lions. Everything they want is right there. They just have to go take it. So I need to see how they can respond. But for now, my confidence did take a hit.
Now, one of the things that always comes up when they lose is the same old Lions thing. And, the Lions will take you to a certain spot, get you all hyped up, and then get their asses kicked. So this was like a sidebar of same old Lions, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say this was same old Lions because they played a road game in the cold against the New York Jets and won. That should have been a same old Lions loss, but it wasn't. I think the key is, how do the Lions respond at home against the Chicago Bears, a team that's not very good, a team that doesn't have anything to play for? That's how you can tell if this team was broken by this game or if this team is like pissed off by this game and is ready to move on. So this is a real big game at Ford Field. Yeah, winning and losing is important, but to see what Lion team shows up is probably even more important.
Because same old Lions, they would use this if in the past they wouldn't come out, they come out and lay an egg, or they wouldn't
lay the egg and have the I-75 look on them when they come out to play the Bears. Like, we already ready to go down to Florida, the Bahamas, wherever we want to go. If they have that look, that's same old Lions.
Right, which you wouldn't if you were me, because it is different. I think that's where the youth comes in, and I think if anything, this should really, really make them upset and angry. And how are they going to respond to that? I know how Spenny would respond. Probably with a burger or something.
Probably with a burger, maybe some meatloaf, but that's all you got to worry about is because down-home comfort foods are back at Big Boy. Wintertime in Detroit has always been better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the classic meatloaf, Cajun chicken Alfredo, but what about breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes are back. The Lumberjack, the Santa Fe Garden, or the Blockbuster. You can throw some hot sauce, some ketchup on those boys. That is fire right there. So stop into your local Big Boy today and satisfy those taste buds.
All I want for Christmas is a Lions win, the Pistons in the playoffs, and the Red Wings to dominate. I don't ask for much.
I'm asking for a punt! A single punt!
And I've been really good this year.
Oh, you're so naughty. You're so naughty.
Woodward Sports.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D with spotless sanitized room and trains and certified tanning professionals. Join the Peppers Club for all the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5.
$5?
$5, Sam. And don't forget to ask about Australian Gold, Designer Skin Tan, Caltan, and Swedish Beauty Lotions. ChiliPeppersTanning.com, the hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters. 27 locations and more coming. It's Chili Peppers Tanning. Chili Peppers Tan.
Good, nicely done. Big D energy here on a Monday. Coming off of Christmas. Where was this in here? Jim Grice Jr. said that, or Darren McCarty, Terry Foster, Flannel Sam, Spencer Raxter, that we should listen to you, Terry. The fact that because you can be the most critical of the Lions this time. So if you're saying that, it should mean something. And Jim, I agree with you to the fact that this might not be the same old line. Now, a lot of chat in the thread is that, well, we're going to take care of business at home. Obviously, we're playing in the dome. Our offense clicks on a different cylinder. You would hope that we'll find a way to slow Justin Fields and the running attack, the mobile quarterback that we've had problems with this year. But everybody's moving towards being soft in the cold in Green Bay, right, Terry? Like everybody's already moved down. We
it doesn't
like
necessarily mean that.
What's that?
It doesn't necessarily mean that.
I know it doesn't, but that's where the fandom, it seems some of the fans are worried that that you can't play in the cold or you're gonna go out and be soft again.
Well, once again, you can't overreact to one game because they played tough in New York. It was cold. They did not play tough in Carolina, and it was cold. Now, to me, it was more attitude. Like, this other team is way more motivated than us, but you played better in the cold in New York because you had a team in influx. They didn't have the quarterback situation is messed up. It's not the weather, it's the team. Now, if you're better than Green Bay, the Lions will go and win at Lambeau Field. If you're not, you probably lose, and it'll probably be a close game too.
Right, and absolutely, you would hope so. You hope it comes down to that last game of the year where it's actually meaningful. I mean, I think the big thing is, guys, we're in December, right, going into January, and we're talking football, playing meaningful games. I mean, is that not progress? Is that not change to not the same old Lions? The fact that, you know, this is something that's different, and we should be. Well, you don't blame people for being skeptical or being like that. That's sort of that old reaction. But what you're saying, Terry, is listen, I've seen it all. I'm a critic of this, but there is something different. It could play out that way, but let's just wait and see, because I, Terry Foster, have seen something a little different with these guys.
A little different, but I'm not willing to say same old Lions is dead, even if they win these next 2 games.
I think everybody can accept that, because you're looking. It's almost like you're looking for validation.
I took a vow many years ago that I would drop same old Lions if they won a playoff game, and then validate it the next season by having a good season. Because I've seen the Lions make the playoffs, lose a playoff game, and then the next season a crap. Now, if they can win a playoff game and validate the next season by making the playoffs, then I would say same old Lions is dead, in my mind. But it's different with everybody else. For instance, Taylor Decker said same old Lions is dead. He's not wrong. In his view of what the Lions are, it is dead.
Or in his tenure.
But because he sees a team that's closer than he's ever seen it before. He's seen a team that fights for each other more than they have in many years. So in his sphere, same old Lions is dead. In my sphere, it's not dead, because I have different expectations. I have different things I want to see, because I've seen this team make the playoffs. I've seen this team win 8 or 9 games. And normally, and right now, when I see young people excited about a possible 8 or 9 win season, they're excited because they haven't experienced it. I have seen this before. I've seen 11 win seasons. I've seen them win a playoff game. I've seen them win 7 out of 8 games. And it wasn't as big a deal as this time out of winning 7 out of 8 games. So for me, there's a lot more work that needs to be done before I drop same old Lions.
That's fair. Do you know one of the positives that reiterates week after week that we saw in the scores, in the stat sheet, really exemplify? But how about, I mean, we could talk about Goff and whether, you know, throwing 300 and doing it, but how about the tight end position, right? The fact that we traded Hawkinson and haven't missed a beat, whether it's Wright, Zilch, the tight ends that are filling in, Mitchell, different things, making catches, but doing the job. So isn't that, like, you're looking for positive? That's not same old Lions of you know, making a move and making it work. Because does that not seem to you, Terry, about one of the best moves that they made?
Yeah, here's the lesson, and there's a bigger picture of this.
Yeah, what's the bigger picture?
Hey, Lions, if you want a good tight end, you don't have to draft them in the first round. You can draft in the 4th round. You can get them off practice squads. The tight end is one of those positions where if you know what you're doing, you can get a good one.
Which it's sort of preaching. You're not preaching it to this regime because they didn't do it, but it just goes to show you.
Right.
Exactly right. But putting the team together. The biggest takeaway for me is the youth. They're young and they're still learning, and you know what? You got to get punched in the mouth, and when you're learning how to win, you're gonna go on the road feeling yourself a little bit, and somebody who you don't have the proper respect for is gonna punch you right in the face. But how do you respond to that? How do you respond? To me, it's a blessing to this younger team, right? That has these ups and downs, has fought together, is coming back home for their last game of the season. Because we know what Ford Field has meant to them, especially as of late, and the way that the crowd is going to be packed in there. Home field advantage, now the adjustments to be made and getting ready. So I think it's a blessing in disguise. But yes, Terry, we will see. We will see. I think it's different. I don't think it's not 100% complete, but we're moving down the path of not being the same old Lions.
Right. And about this guy, I want to quote the great philosopher Mark Aguirre. Who used to play for the Pistons.
Yes.
And he always used to say, every team is going to spit out a bad one now and then. You don't know when it's going to come. You can't really explain why it happened, but you're going to spit out a bad one. You're going to get your ass kicked. And this is what happened. This is why I'm not overreacting this and say, oh, they can't play in the cold. This was a 1 game off. They were awful. Doesn't mean you can't go into Lambeau and win. It just means on this particular Saturday, you weren't prepared. You weren't man enough to overcome what Carolina did to you.
Well, to the youth, you weren't mature enough,
right,
to go in there as a whole, and I think that's good because you know what? You know who never lets us down? Swiss Insurance.
Oh, never once have they let us down. And with the holiday season here, Swiss Insurance wants to remind you to insure those gifts of jewelry or collectibles. In the last 2 weeks, Swiss has saved its clients an average of 26% on their insurance premiums while increasing coverage. That's a lot of money to free up for the giving season. Happy holidays from Swiss Insurance, and go blue.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle, baby, talking to one another.
Woodward Sports. Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Time for the Monroe Street Midway Minute, because the Midway has swapped out roller skating, basketball, and mini golf for a giant Arctic slide, winter bumper cars, an indoor arcade, and puck putt. With free entry to the site, enjoy a variety of new activities aimed at creating exceptional winter experiences for everyone. Get to the Monroe Midway this winter to enjoy tasty treats, make magical memories during the most wonderful time of the years. And that giant Arctic slide is 20 feet high, 80 feet long. You go down it on a rubber inner tube, and it's brought to you by Come Play Detroit. And of course, you can warm up with their toasty treats. They're serving up burgers, pierogies, homemade chili, chicken sandwiches, and mac and cheese bites, as well as vegan and gluten-free options. So make sure you go downtown and check out the Monroe Street Midway, presented by Bedrock Detroit.
Now, you mentioned pierogies. Those are some of my favorite things. Are you
pierogies.
Sour cream pierogi guy or applesauce pierogi guy?
Ooh,
how about both?
Yeah.
At the same time?
Why not?
I gotta do one or the other.
Pierogies are the bomb.
I don't like sour cream, like at all. I don't like sour cream on anything, so I'll just go pierogies plain.
Okay, that's acceptable.
Yeah.
Mustard too.
Mustard?
Honey mustard.
Honey mustard. Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely. Anyways, Big D Energy, top of the hour here on this Boxing Day. December 26th, Darren McCarty, T. Foss, Spenmo, Rax, Flannel Sam. Yes?
Before we get too far away from it, I just do want to mention, so my mom's mom is from Poland. She's 100% Polish, and so we do pierogies every year for all the events, and Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, all that stuff. And they have a pierogi making party where like a couple days before they all get together and they make the pierogies. And they do one every year. It's like a mystery pierogi. Well, they'll put like prunes or something nasty in it. So if you're like reaching in the pot and grabbing your pierogies, and you get that one, and it's like you got the potato and cheese ones, the sauerkraut ones. Then there's one every year that's like prune or something gross in the pierogi.
You know what that's like? The jelly beans.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. Or the candy. Actually, we had a bunch of that going around. I had a fried chicken lozenge, and it felt. Hey, you know what it tasted? It smelled right like fried chicken. But you know when you bite into like a KFC or whatever like that, and it's got that like. Not film, but it's got that taste that overtakes the smell of the car and stuff. Yeah. So
I got a tough question for you guys, and there's no wrong answer. Pierogies or pot stickers?
Pierogi.
Pot stickers.
Pierogi.
Flannel?
Pot stickers, 100%.
Yeah, I'm a pot sticker guy.
You're a pot sticker. I like pierogi because you can put different things in there. I mean, I like pot stickers.
You can put different things in the pot sticker.
Well, yeah, but that's more of that to me. That's more of dipping it in like the soy or whatever like that instead.
Or maybe like Spinmo. Maybe he doesn't dip it.
See
you dip it?
Yeah, I'll dip them in like soy sauce, pot stickers, or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Pierogies, big fan here on Big D Energy. We were talking. I want to talk a little bit, before we switch gears, and we'll get to. Neil's not here. We're going to get to some Michigan talk. Big game coming up, Michigan TCU on Saturday. But I want to go around, mentioned on it earlier, I want to go a little bit around the NFL because, our team wasn't the only one that struggled hard. And the fact that I want to get Sam's take on this because, oh, my God. Like, how done is Russell Wilson? And then also, too, and I know Neil's not here. I'll let him defend tomorrow, but what happened to Tua?
Tua fell apart, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how Neil doesn't show up on the day after Tua Tagovailoa.
You'd be proud of him the way you just called him out.
Yeah. Good for you.
I mean, Tua threw 3 terrible interceptions when the Dolphins had every opportunity to win that game. That was one of those games where Tua completely cost them. And it's not just this one game. The Dolphins are 0-4 in the last 4 games, and Tua's stats have been really, really bad. I think he has a 52% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in the last 4 games, including that game at Los Angeles where Justin Herbert just basically sunned Tua Tagovailoa. They should never be mentioned in the same breath ever again. That Tua performance, I feel a little bit of vindicated. And I will say that until further notice, he is officially mid. But you know who's not mid, who is much, much worse than mid, as you mentioned, Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
My goodness.
He's trash.
The thing is...
hey, this might be his worst take of all time.
Yeah.
Brandon Katz says Russell Wilson's fine. He's got no offensive line. He didn't put the work in this year.
It's not...
Bro, he's not fine.
Yeah.
Has he played a good game this year?
No.
Or won?
No.
Spend more racks. Jared Goff or Russell Wilson?
Jared Goff.
There's your answer without even batting the
He's awful.
Yeah.
Terry, again, you've watched more football than any of us in here. What is Russell Wilson done? I guess the reason I brought this up is because I think Russell Wilson put a fork in him, done, worst money spent to whatever else. And I wanted to know, I asked that with the Tua, because what's wrong with Tua? Because don't we agree that Tua is supposed to be accurate? He is good, but you got Jair Alexander picking one off and telling you it was like a Christmas present in the sky that it was so overthrown. Is there a difference?
He started out well yesterday. He passed for 200 yards in the first half.
Well, it helps when you got your cheetah and your penguin or whatever else running down the field and Waddle and.
But is Russell Wilson done? We need to ask this question: was Russell Wilson ever started? Even in Seattle, when he had success there, teammates were always griping about Russell Wilson.
That's true.
Overrated. He's fine, but he's not as great as you guys make him out to be. So maybe his own teammates saw something in Russell Wilson and let him know that, he's mid. Maybe he's mid in Seattle. But
I think Pete Carroll and that organization and John Schneider and everything else who we put, on, the upper end of an organization and what they do, they knew it. They knew it. He's not. So Tua, you think it's just? You think that it's something to do with earlier injuries?
I still think he's young.
young.
Yes.
I still think he's young, and that at some point you will wish he was a Detroit Lion. Of course, and now let me pay tribute to Neil. Of course, for the right salary.
Yeah, for the right salary.
Of course.
The whole Russell Wilson thing, I don't know what happened. Obviously, in Seattle, he showed he has a great deep ball. He could throw the deep ball extremely well in Seattle. He would always do it, whether it was Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse when he played there, to DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. He always had a great deep ball, and he could hit those guys in stride. And his ability to improvise and create time in the pocket was big. In Denver, we're not seeing any of that. And it's not like Denver has an awful receiving core. They're not as good as what he had in Seattle, but like Courtland Sutton's pretty darn good. Jerry Jeudy is pretty darn good, and these guys should be able to be utilized by Russell Wilson. But this dude is just cooked. He threw back-to-back interceptions on back-to-back throws. Like 2 throws, 2 interceptions. It was disgusting.
So I bring those questions up. And I guess, Brandon, you could be right. We will wait and see. I would not bet on him having a bounce back year next year or whatever else.
I think he'd get better, but top 5 is a stretch.
Top 5?
Yeah.
Unbelievable, because it brings me back around to our quarterback, right?
Yes.
What you saw, Jared Goff. Obviously, stats-wise, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Is he the guy, because now we mentioned the different weather, Terry says don't worry about it, this and that. Is he the guy? Do you believe in him more of what they did? Was this more of something not to him, but more on your running game, something to establish it? You brought up the first, what Carolina did, establish a running game, which set up Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Right? Which is a comparable guy, whether, to Jared Goff. Can we agree with that?
Yeah.
Sam, you know what I'm saying? If the running game works to what Carolina did it, then the play action, the passing works out. So was Jared Goff's inefficiency more to, and he was efficient, but more to the lack of the running game that he's had in the past weeks?
I think if we look at yesterday's or Saturday's game, it was the running game. The running game screwed Jared Goff. Jared Goff needs all pieces working to be a functional quarterback. And I've talked to a number of line quarterbacks after Barry Sanders left. And when they struggled, they say the same thing. I didn't have a running game today. And, you talk to them off the cuff. They wouldn't say it on the record, but they would say, hey, it's different around here. We don't have a running game. And I'll take you into the locker room of the Lions when Sylvester Croom was the offensive coordinator after Barry left. The question to him was, why don't you do more play action? And so he showed me some film. He said, okay, here we go. Linebackers didn't flinch. They played the Lions differently. When Barry Sanders was the running back, the linebackers would freeze every time you fake like handing off to him. But then after he left, linebackers didn't flinch. They just said, we're still going to go through our progressions. So if you don't have that running game, you're screwed. And yesterday, who would you rather have? All in big picture, Sam Darnold or Jared Goff?
Probably Jared Goff.
That's
Yeah.
Which so
Jared Goff?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, who was the better quarterback yesterday?
Sam Darnold.
Or Saturday? Why?
Because he had a
better team around him.
Yeah.
When you gash somebody that severely in the running game,
20 yards,
you can get Twinkie McGillicuddy is going to be look like a good quarterback.
Well, you look at the one play, right? Wherever you could call where Aaron Glenn goes all out, you think he's going to run, and they got single coverage over the top to DJ Moore with the Kuda one-on-one, which puts him in a bad spot. But the fact is, like you said earlier, Terry, that the fear of the run on that short play opens up. And you're an NFL quarterback. You should be able to make those passes. Now, you brought
up one young man's name, Okuda. Wasn't he especially bad yesterday?
You know
Saturday?
what? He's been up and down. It's just.
I know, but not this bad.
I didn't. You know what?
Bad,
it didn't stand out that it was extra bad than what I've seen in the past. Does that make sense? Like he struggled. And I'm the guy with the Curse of Akuta Island shirt on. So, I mean, it's like that was a tough one. No gold was found on Saturday. All right, let's just say that. Storm came in. All right, storm coming. Sometimes you can't dig. But it's the confidence that he's still getting better. To me, it's still pretty much his rookie season. I mean, like, from playing, from being hurt and stuff like that. I think more of the question is Jameson Williams, because you hear some of the things coming out that he didn't hurt himself, but he might have tweaked it, and then you're reading things about there's miscommunication between Williams and Goff. I just think, again, how much time have they had to spend to each other?
Yeah, that's what it is.
None. Yeah. And in practice or whatever, they need an off season to work out. Like we hear all the quarterbacks fly into here, come out to California, let's do the da-da-da, right? They'll get on the same page. I'm not worried about that. But to your point, Terry, exactly. The team around him. That's why it's a team game. Jared Goff's not going to win you a game by himself. He needs to be put in the best possible position, right? With the best possible guys around him. Now, if you look at the stat line, and Sam, would you say that but to that point, he did something that he can never do. Muff a snap. Like when you lose a turnover battle, but when you give away possessions, especially in the red zone, right? Unforced errors, I call that an unforced error between two of your leaders in your Pro Bowl center, and it just can't happen.
It cannot happen, but I look at that as a fluke thing. It's going to happen every, 100,000 snaps or whatever. It just happened at the wrong time. That was a fluke thing that happened there, and unfortunately, it was a bad play, but if you are a decent team, you overcome that.
You do.
Because you gave them the ball inside the 10-yard line.
Yep.
I do that every day. I'd love for the opposition to start inside the 10-yard line, but you're unable to overcome that.
Yeah, but I think that in the way that the narrative of the game, just the way the game was going, because we couldn't stop anything, right?
I know, but that
I get it.
In the
good
game.
teams overcome it, right, Terry? You're right. But we don't have the luxury, in my opinion, to be playing that game. That's the San Francisco's, Kansas City's, and all that stuff. I mean, whatever it is, maybe he's got to get those little hands in to Planet Fitness and work out a little bit more so he can hold it.
Does Planet Fitness have a hand enhancer?
Well, we'll have to see. They do with the black card, Spenny.
Yeah.
Planet Fitness is where to go, right?
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if they have a hand enhancer, but if they did, I'm sure people would use it. But Planet Fitness is the official studio sponsor of Woodward Sports. Also home of the judgment-free zone where you can work out for only $10 a month or upgrade to the black card for unlimited guest privileges, hydro massage, and more. Join in club today or go to planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness where Darren McCarty.
Your fitness is essential. Hold on to that ball.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Are here live on Woodward Sports daily 5 to 7 p.m. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
What's going on? Big D Energy, D-Mac, T-Foss, Benmo, Rax, Flannel, Sam coming back to you here, Big D Energy. Getting underway. I want to talk some Michigan football. Obviously, big game Saturday. Playoffs in the NCAA National Championship. The Michigan Wolverines -7.5 taking on the Horned Frogs of TCU and the aerial assault of Max Dugan. I am going to go to the booth to Flannel Sam, our Michigan slap here. And you know what? We've been down a little bit. Everybody's sort of, getting ready, taking Christmas in. We got the presents, experience the Lions, but it is a big game on Saturday. Sam, where are you at just under a week out from the first big game of your season?
It's turned into Neil Rule.
Second big game of the season.
Say, winning at Columbus isn't a big game, apparently. But anywho, I can't even put into words my excitement. Michigan is one win away from playing for a national championship, and they're playing a TCU team that I think they should beat. I think TCU is the weakest team in the college football playoff. I think Michigan matches up very, very well with them. TCU's problem is that they don't defend. That's the thing. I've got some stats to sort of support that. So nationally, out of all the teams in the college football playoff, Georgia is second in points allowed per game. Michigan is 5th. Ohio State is 13th. TCU is 57th. In rushing yards allowed per game, Georgia is 1st in the nation. Michigan is 3rd. Ohio State is 23rd. And TCU is 64th. And passing yards allowed per game, Ohio State is 14th. Michigan is 22nd. Georgia is a surprising 51st. Wow. But TCU is 82nd. And yards per game total allowed, Michigan is 3rd. Georgia is 9th. Ohio State is 11th. And TCU is 73rd. So that kind of goes to the point that even though TCU kind of plays in a conference that's a little bit more wide open. They've played some good offenses. They've never faced an offensive line like Michigan's. They've never faced a running game like Michigan's. And I think this is a game where the Michigan offense should run all over TCU. I expect a big game from Donovan Edwards. I expect a big game from J.J. McCarthy, kind of piggybacking off of an excellent game at Ohio State and a very good game in the Big Ten Championship. I guess the one way that TCU can really beat Michigan, I noticed something in the Michigan-Purdue game that really kind of concerned me. The Aiden O'Connell to Charlie Jones connection was lethal. Charlie Jones, or as they called him in the game, Chuck Sizzle, and rightfully so that game, had 13 catches for 162 yards. Michigan is about to face a Max Duggan to Quentin Johnson connection that is better. I mean, Quentin Johnson's one of the best receivers in the country, and Max Duggan was a Heisman finalist, one of the best players in college football all year. So that's one way in which I think TCU can expose Michigan, although Will Johnson is a stud at corner. I think he'll mark up with Quentin Johnson. I see Michigan winning this game mainly by the strength of their running game, that amazing offensive line, Donovan Edwards. I don't think TCU can stop them. But, like I said, the one area where Michigan can get hurt is against the pass. But I do expect Michigan to take care of business.
And TCU is so weak, Michigan might actually be up by 7 points at halftime.
Dude, I've said all year, Michigan found a way to win the Big Ten, go undefeated, 13-0, win at Columbus, win the Big Ten championship, and not really play a good first half of football in the entire Big Ten season. And I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that. But you guys all know this, the way Michigan is built. That offensive line led by superstar Olu Oluwatimi, they just wear you down. After a while, those defensive linemen, they're tired of getting blown up. They're tired of pulling guards, just blowing them up. They're sick of it. So I don't know. Will Michigan play a good first half? Past occurrences form future trends, and I would say, I don't know, I expect them to be up by about 7 at halftime, as they always are, but as the game goes on, TCU is going to will, Michigan's going to impose their will, and I think they got a gift playing TCU. I think they'll win this one handily.
There's only one way TCU can win this game. If it turns into a game,
outscore Michigan?
Yeah, if it turns into a game that's described as wacky.
Oh, yeah.
They'll have to continue throwing the ball. They're going to give up points. TCU's going to give up points. But if they can turn the game into a track meet, they have a shot. But the bottom line is when you have a massive offensive line, it plays into the offense too. TCU's offense, they won't be as efficient, but because Michigan's going to they're going to have the type of game they want. they'll dictate what type of game it is, and TCU won't be able to overcome that. But if they do, and this turns wacky, and everybody's scoring on every possession, TCU has a shot.
I mean, I would like to think that Michigan's defense is too good to get into a track meet with a TCU, but like I said before, against Purdue, Charlie Jones, Purdue's star wide receiver, absolutely obliterated the Michigan secondary. He played a hell of a game, and Quentin Johnson is one of the best receivers in all of college football, getting passes thrown to him by one of the best quarterbacks in college football, and Max Duggan. So if they can hit some pass plays, especially early, and Michigan may not be able to just run it down TCU's throat, they might have to play from behind, I could see it being sort of a tough game. Obviously, Michigan can't turn the football over. Obviously, if there's kind of wackiness, it could be precarious for Michigan, but I don't foresee that happening. I think Michigan is just too damn good. Their running game is too good. Their defense, which is getting a healthy Mike Morris back, is too damn good. I see Michigan winning, but they have to be ready from the outset.
The other thing we need to look at is Michigan is playing an upgraded Purdue. Now, Purdue, they had 1 week to prepare. Now they have a month, and they're not going to use the whole month practicing and stuff. But they've got a whole month to see what they did wrong against Purdue. This is almost like facing Purdue again, but now you've got time to prepare. All these coaches are in their little rooms drawing little diagrams and little plays and little defensive plays, and maybe it bodes well for Michigan.
Hey, Spetty, does it not... like the Michigan fandom, the Lions fandom, almost in my mind, in the same spot where you have the next game where you're expecting your team to take care of business. Now they have to move, but the real end of the prize is we're expecting the Georgia national championship, right? We're all sitting here, and then we're expecting the Lions in Green Bay in the last week. It's sort of take care of your business, right? Yeah. This week, take care of your business.
What would surprise you more? The Lions laying an egg against the Bears, or Michigan losing to TCU?
Michigan losing to TCU.
I would say that because to me the Lions still haven't proven how to stop that mobile quarterback, right? That running quarterback. Mm-hmm. And what we saw is, hey, I expect their will to be back, like them ready to play. But yeah, I think because of the way Michigan does it, controlling the ball, controlling the clock. So what you guys brought up is the imperativeness of what's the score after the first half. TCU can stay into it and turn it into a, the gimmick game or something where it throws Michigan's running attack off and stuff like this. But, bottom line, at the beginning of the week right here, what's the final score in the Michigan-TCU game? Sam, go first.
I am going to go Michigan 38, TCU 24.
38-24? Yes. Spetty?
I'll go Michigan 32, TCU 20.
I'm gonna go Michigan 31, TCU 17. Yeah. But let me preface this. If the score at halftime is 13-7, Michigan's gonna win. If the score at halftime is 27-20, I'd be very worried if I were Michigan, because that means we're into the track meet.
Into the track meet, so they got to keep it down. So a lot of times too, we're talking about the offense and the running game and stuff like this, but the confidence on the defense. Now, we haven't been healthy, but Mike Morris expected to be back.
Yeah, I mean, and he's their most dominant defensive player, so having him back will be huge. Having him being able to get pressure on Max Duggan, I think, will make the difference. I think he'll get to him a time or two, or at least make him hurry some throws, and I think that will be one of the differences in the game, having a healthy Mike Morris. It's imperative in the college football playoff.
I got it more of a 45-24 game. I think that men amongst boys being ready to prepare. I think Michigan, preparing for a month, and this is what it's all about. So what about you, T? What would you be more surprised of the Lions laying an egg or Michigan?
I'd be more surprised if Michigan lost.
Right.
Because football games are 60 minutes long, not 30. And I can't not see. See, I don't respect the teams in the Southwest. I don't respect their defenses. I'm fearful of their offenses. But if you can wear them down, it plays, it deflates an entire team. I think Michigan's offensive line can deflate the entire TCU team. So that's why I would be surprised if Michigan lost.
You guys all in agreement?
Yeah, I'd definitely say Michigan for a couple of reasons. I think Michigan is a great team this year, and I don't think the Lions are a great team yet. I think they're all right, and they're getting to be a good team, but they're not there yet. And the Bears they kind of have the kryptonite of what the Lions have done this year, which is a running quarterback, a mobile quarterback, while Michigan has the kryptonite of TCU, which is that bulldozing offensive line and run game. So
yeah, which is proving it.
Yeah.
Another thing that we forget is Chicago and Detroit like to dick with each other. You know, if Detroit is playing Chicago and Chicago is in any sport has something to play for or something motivating to win, Detroit wants to ruin that. The same thing with Chicago. There's still a rivalry between the two cities.
Yeah, but does Chicago hate Green Bay more than Detroit? Probably because they're in their way?
Probably, but they do not like Detroit.
Really? See, I always thought that in hockey that changed when Shelley got traded to us. There was always sort of like this brother thing. So it's more of a family fight. Like yesterday, your cousins. There's something like this as far as board games or whatever family games that you're playing. You know what's not a game? Alta. You know why? Because that Alta uptime matters. Alta equipment, they have everything. I mean, everything you need to get the job done right. You might have a big, bad, biggity bog project coming up. Alta Rent, they got you covered, so give them a call today. 844, go to Alta. That's 844, go to Alta.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
As chilly weather approaches, Big Boy's got the perfect comfort meals for you. Try our hearty classic meatloaf or our creamy Cajun chicken Alfredo. These will be sure to leave you craving for more. How about breakfast? Our stuffed potato pancakes are back with our lumberjack, blockbuster, and Santa Fe Garden. These potato pancakes will definitely fill you up. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, come stock up on the perfect comfort meal today. We'll see you soon at Big Boy.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
The Foaling Warehouse at Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling pin game called Foaling. Multiple different ways you can play. They've got $12 open unlimited play and private lane reservation for $120. If you get thirsty, they got a $2 mystery beer vending machine and multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So make sure you go check them out in Hamtramck or visit them online at foalingwarehouse.com.
Welcome back, Big D Energy. Darren McCarty, Terry Foster, Spencer Raxter, Sam Reynolds. In case you didn't know, that was his real name, and I'll never say it again. There you go, Big D Energy here on a Monday after the great Christmas weekend had by all. Big day, not only, it felt sort of like the NFL infiltrated an NBA weekend or an NBA Christmas Day, because the NBA is always known, starting with Spenmo's Knicks at like noon or something like this. But did you guys partake in viewing of the NBA
Well, let me ask you,
Spectacular?
what did you watch more, NBA, NFL, or did you just skip all of it?
No, I've watched more NFL. Turned on the Milwaukee Boston Celtics game, and if those aren't the two best teams in the East, and I want to come in and how not basketball that I am, but you watch and just seeing a guy like a Jason Tatum, who we see in this Boston Celtics are. I guess my question is they took care of business last night, but are they a legit contender to knock off Milwaukee and come out of the East? Because the Jason Tatum I saw last night was sort of what everybody has been talking about, of what to expect. Now, can he do it consistently? I think you bring up a good point. Can he do it in the playoffs?
Well, yeah, that's the big thing. Can he do it in the playoffs? And the thing that I want to look at, and I did watch more NBA. I was fascinated by Jason Tatum, the way that he plays, but I've been fascinated by him for a while. But the bottom line is when Milwaukee plays the Celtics in the playoffs, who do you have more faith in, Giannis or Jason Tatum? A lot of times it comes down to the star players. Yes, other guys play key roles and everything, but a lot of times it comes down to your star player. Who's going to make that play in the last 2 minutes of a game?
Is it a statement, or am I making too much out of it? But there was a play last night where Tatum took a give and go, went in for a dunk, and sort of, I wouldn't say facial Giannis, but Giannis went up for the block and he sort of powered down, like something on the next level. Is there something in basketball to that as far as gaining your manhood or proving it to that?
You know what? Manhood. That's the main thing, because I don't think teams send messages during the regular season that carries over into the playoffs. But now and then you have to send a manhood play to a superstar in the NBA, and I think that's what Tatum did.
Yeah. Let me just correlate that. Yeah, Terry. So last night what I saw would be back when I played for the Wings and we're going through our cups and we're successful, is that on the calendar, the Dallases, the Colorados, the teams that you know you're going to have to go against, you got them sort of marked on the calendar. We look at the history of the rivalry with Colorado. Every time he played, the games meant a little bit more, maybe in hockey. So in that way, the manhood, because you know down the road, like these two teams are. Is somebody else gonna make the Eastern Conference Finals other than these two teams?
I think it's tough. I don't think it's gonna be Philly. Obviously, Philly. I mean, as much as they beat the Knicks, like, oh, you beat the Knicks, crazy. But I don't think Embiid and Harden will work to that level. The Nets have been playing great basketball recently. They've had a meteoric rise from where they were when everybody thought they were done. Everyone thought it was over. It'll never happen again. They've won I want to say 9 straight games, and they've just been projecting all the way up the Eastern Conference standings. Kevin Durant has pushed his face right back into MVP consideration with the way he's been playing and leading that team from the depths. But I do think it eventually is between Milwaukee and Boston. And you'll see it. Obviously, Boston won last year, but Milwaukee didn't have Chris Middleton. They didn't have a couple guys available. So when they're healthy, when they're back in the playoffs, Milwaukee's going to be a tough team to beat, man. We talked about it last week. Brook Lopez is playing some great basketball, probably the best of his career. He is a serious contender for Defensive Player of the Year. You have Chris Middleton back. Obviously, Drew Holiday is always there. And then Giannis is the best basketball player on the planet. So it's tough for me to say that it's not going to be Milwaukee if they can stay healthy.
Now, looking ahead, I agree with you. I don't think Philly or the Nets can compete with these two teams in a playoff situation, which is different than the regular season. But for shits and giggles, when the playoffs begin, the debate is going to be if Milwaukee doesn't make it, and then who else? And Boston doesn't make it. Does Philly or the Nets have a better shot?
Yeah.
At unseating them? That's going to be the debate, and probably going to say, well, neither one can. But who can knock out Boston or Milwaukee?
So how many years? Like my question too, because of development. Because I'm going to turn this back to our team here. But Jason Tatum, how many years in the league is he now? Like how long does it take to develop? And I think we talked this here because I think that in the different sports, there's a way in developing. And when you bring up, Terry, the fact that, like, we're talking about our young guys, I mean, Cade's out, but we're talking about Jaden Ivey and Jalen Darren and guys who are getting more of the starting role, more figuring it in. But you're like, this team, it still takes 3 or 4 years, right?
I think it takes 5.
It takes 5 years. So what year is Tatum in right now?
This is his 5th year in the league. This is Jason Tatum's 5th year in the league. And 5th or 5th, yeah.
So to Terry's point, is this not what we're seeing in front of our eyes, something of what we're going to experience with our guys here?
I think so. I agree with Terry. You still need to see it in the playoffs a little bit. Obviously, he had a great run last year, but he kind of fizzled in a couple of those couple of those playoff games, couple of those playoff series, and Jaylen Brown stepped up, other guys stepped up. I want to see him, reach that superstardom. He's already basically a superstar, but it's more of a regular season thing. He needs to kind of attack it in the playoffs. And talking about, statement moments like that dunk over the Giannis, he had a statement moment his rookie year in the playoffs where he dunked over LeBron, where he yammed on LeBron, chirped in his face, and then pushed him. And that's everybody in Boston was going, he's only 19 years old and he's doing this already. And he's never really gotten all the way up there. You've seen the meteoric rise. Obviously, he's been a multiple-time All-Star, but now we're seeing him become a superstar, seeing him become an MVP contender. So I love seeing it. Jason Tatum's awesome to watch play basketball.
Plus, the other thing, the Pistons have to wait for Boston and Philly and Milwaukee to die.
That's a big thing too, right?
Yeah.
It's not like the NFL where, in 3 years, 2 or 3 years with the right draft and putting things in place, you can get back out. This is it's a development thing, right? It's a development because you got to wait till the other teams fall off. It's
right.
Basketball
in the
and hockey
NFL,
are more
it's your
along the same
time.
lines.
It's your time. But in the NBA, if Boston or Milwaukee are still rolling and Giannis is in their prime, there's very little you can do about it. Yeah. You can play them tough, but the bottom line is they're like, all right, what time is it? All right, it's time to put these suckers away, and that's what they can do in the NBA more than the NFL.
What was your biggest takeaway from basketball yesterday, Sam? Was there anything that was a takeaway to the fact, like Spenny? So to answer your question, who's that team? Because of the pedigree, what he's done is that you can't count out Kevin Durant.
Yes.
Right? Because it seems like there's a will, there's a way with him. Now, I don't expect it, but I mean, at the back of my mind is if there's any team that, if it's not the other ones, it would be the Nets. Did you see that? Do you see that too, or?
I'll tell you what, when you have Kevin Durant on your team playing at some of his highest level basketball he's ever played in his career, you can go far in the playoffs. He's that good. And if Kyrie's he's made more waves off the court, but he's actually had a pretty good year when he's been healthy as well. I think the Nets, I don't know, I trust them more than Cleveland, honestly, at this stage, because they have Kevin Durant, who, when he's healthy, is a top 3 player in the world.
I was just gonna say I agree. Kevin Durant is still Kevin Durant. He's still the best offensive player in the history of basketball. You have Kyrie Irving, who is still a top 4 point guard in the NBA when he's healthy. And I look at this Nets situation and what they have with defensive wings with guys like Royce O'Neal, obviously Ben Simmons. You have a big paint protector in Nick Claxton, and then you have multiple 40-point, 3-point shooters in Seth Curry, O'Neal, Joe Harris, Patty Mills. You have these guys that you can just put around Kevin Durant and a Kyrie Irving, and while they're cooking, these guys can just get their own. And on top of that, you have bench scoring and guys who can take the load off, like Markieff Morris and other people like that.
You're all right, but however, the big question, can you rely on Kyrie Irving night in and night out? Can you rely on Ben Simmons night in or night out? I mean, that's the big question.
I don't think you need to, because you have Kevin Durant.
You know what they're capable of, but they're also capable of disappearing.
Well, you know what? You know who's the coach of Brooklyn Nets?
Steve Nash.
Yeah, you know where he should go see? Right? Because of this? Because, Terry, we don't know. But to the point with Brooklyn, with the talent, if they decided that at once, they could get it, right? You don't expect them to because the flakiness, because of all the problems.
It's not Steve Nash anymore.
But technically, with the talent they have, they could get it. They should. But you know what? Steve Nash, we need to give him the number. Where to, Sam?
He needs some SMA.
Oh, SMA. It's you.
Yeah, he needs some SMA because he's watching Jacques Vaughn make this team a legitimate contender in the East. But SMA, or the Sports Marketing Agency, helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com to get the help you deserve.
I love Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the three biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Downtown Detroit is all decked out this holiday season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge and the Monroe Street Midway. The Midway has a giant slide, winter bumper cars, and an indoor arcade. Plus, you can grab drinks at the Lodge before or after games. Shop, eat, and play downtown all winter long with Decked Out Detroit, or you could visit them online at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Big D energy on this Boxing Day. Darren, McCarty, Terry Foster, Spenmo, Rex, Flannel, Sam coming at you. We were just talking a little bit of basketball. Obviously, Christmas Day, big part. Jason Tatum showing out. Little slamma-jamma in the face of Giannis, which he's been known to do, but it comes down to the playoffs time. Speaking about battling for playoffs, let's talk a little hockey here. Red Wings into the Christmas break. They got their game canceled because of the weather on Friday in Ottawa, rescheduled to February something. But 32 games, 14-11 and 7. They are sitting 35 points, I believe, just out of the wild card right now. But the beauty of missing, so this will be, they play their first game back. They play back-to-back in Pittsburgh and Buffalo Wednesday, Thursday. This will give them a week off. Now they've practiced, but it's also time to get some guys back healthy. Obviously, Tyler Bertuzzi, broken wrist, still a few weeks away, but guys like Jacob Verana and Robbie Fabry are important. Why is that so? Because these are guys with offense that can bring some offensive production, not only on the special teams, but this is what you've missed out on when you've had your struggles as of late. We've all talked about the goaltending, and we talked about different ways to improve. The feeling that obviously Ville Husso is one thing that I know he is your number one, gives you the opportunity to win every game. But you're in a dogfight, and every game is big. But to saying that, how big of an impact do you expect not Jacob Verana and Robbie Fabry to have on this lineup?
I think huge, because really, I always talk about the Wings being consistently inconsistent. And maybe the reason I say that is because we really don't know what this team is. Because it seems like their top players take turns being out of the lineup because of injury. And you're never 100%, but if you can get as close to 100%, maybe just have one of these guys out during a certain stretch, maybe this is where the Wings make their run. Now, I'm always concerned about the month of January. Here's why. In the NBA and the NHL, a couple teams always disappear in January for whatever reason. And I think it's because, particularly for the younger players, it's more games than they've ever played before. You look up and you normally have crappy weather, and then you look up at the calendar and it's like it's not going to be good weather for a while. And you still have this load of games remaining where mentally you don't feel like fighting through it. But some players like I'm ready to go now.
Yeah,
Let's
a lot
roll.
of that time too. They call it the dog days of the season, and in the NHL and the NBA playing 82 games, you have those moments. But it's the good teams that get through it, and it's part of the youthful experience. A lot of times you got young guys, and you look at the first year guys or the guys that are in their first couple years on this Red Wing team. We got a bunch of them who are learning their way around the NHL, because it is the travel, it is taking care of your body, it's your sleep, it's all this stuff. Now they're set up for success in every possible way, but still it's you learning yourself. What'd you have, Spenny?
It's just per Tom Pelissero, the Broncos have fired Nathaniel Hackett as their head coach.
Wow. Wow, little breaking news there. Nathaniel Hackett gone. Why would that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. They're playing so well.
You got trunked by Baker Mayfield, right? Which is where it's a little off topic here, but getting trucked like that by Baker Mayfield is worse than getting beat by Sam Darnold, right?
Oh, it's humiliating. They lost 51-14 to a Baker Mayfield quarterback team, and it wasn't because of Baker Mayfield for the most part. It was because Russell Wilson couldn't stop turning the football over. But Nathaniel Hackett was brought in because he was an offensive guy. He's a guy that you thought Russell Wilson could thrive under. And before yesterday's game, the Broncos were a top 3 scoring defense, but were still 4-10. And it was all because Russell Wilson and that offense was just so trash. If any quarterback deserved to get fired after like 14 or 15 games, it was Nathaniel Hackett along with Urban Meyer last year.
Terry, didn't the Denver hire Nathaniel Hackett because he's a quarterback coach for Aaron Rodgers strictly because they thought they were going to bring Rodgers there? And anyways,
yeah, but everybody's chemistry doesn't work together.
Absolutely.
And maybe this is a situation.
I mean, I'll say this to be realistic is, to Brandon's point that Russell could improve next year. Well, there's a start.
That's a good start.
A different voice. So you know what? That's enough of the Denver people ruining my hockey talk.
Yeah, I think we asked the question: is Russell Wilson broken? Well, I guess now we find out. You're getting a different word, a different coach.
Hopefully it's not Ben Johnson.
Good thing. And like you said, another thing to your point, Terry, is that when you have guys that haven't played all year or you have health that is in and out of the lineup, they don't have the dog days of summer, right? This is the beginning. So you got guys like the Fabian Verano who started the season, had the personal issues. He come back and with the purpose. You need that. Brings it into the lineup, brings some spark and stuff like this. But the bottom line, the two most glaring points, and we brought up the fact the other day, face-offs, right? Puck possession, face-offs is number 1. But if I'm looking at the stats right here, it's the plus minus the goals against average. If I'm looking at your Atlantic Division, right, where Boston's at the top, their goal differential's 56, Toronto's 29, even the Lightning's 18. You're -7, sitting there in 4th, -7, which you could see one of these things is not like the other. So, more so the goal, and not to the goaltending, but the team defense. They got to play better in front of them. Yes, I agree. I think anybody like this that brings some firepower back in the lineup that has sort of that experience, obviously, I know from spending time in the program with the league is that when you come back and Jacob Verana, he's in a good place mentally. He's taking care of what he needs to take care of. Now he can focus on hockey. So
and he should come back refreshed.
He should be really refreshed.
Ways, right.
And a lot of times too, guys, is that you forget is that the athletes are human beings too. So if you're going through it, they're not immune to it. They're just expected to block everything out when they go about their career.
And one other thing about the NHL and defense, to me at least in the NHL, defense is so team-oriented. It's like a spider web. That spider web can clutch down on you and choke you out, or that spider web can have a lot of holes in it where the other team is able to maneuver and do what they want. So now the Wings, if they can get people back and together for a few weeks together, maybe that spider web doesn't have as much. It's not as porous and it's choking down on people. That's
it's commitment, right? Defense is an absolute commitment, and it's not a one-person commitment. It's a 5 or 6, including the goalie, commitment. You're right. to that, Terry. It's, we'll say it all year long. I know Rad Dad Scott wants a shirt, 113 in the 313, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see more so. Why can't they get it? Why can't they get it? Because it takes time and it takes commitment. And a lot of times when the lineup is changed and different guys are in there, it takes a while. What made the grind line so good is that we operated on one brain cell. It wasn't mine.
Well, I'm sure you contributed, but in conversations with goalie Chris Osgood, he always said this: I should never, ever give up a goal if I can see the puck and my guys are making guys not take the shot they want. Yeah, maybe you get a shot off, but it's partially deflected or it's an open thing to me. And then once I make the save, if I can either get the rebound or they can clear it, I should never give up a goal. Of course you're going to do it, but that's the mentality that he had. And that's the confidence he had in you guys, that if there was a shot on goal, you guys are either going to clear it or he's going to drop on it and there's not rebounds. The thing he worried about the most was rebounds. The other team getting rebounds and then playing with the puck again, and they said that results in goals.
See, I always looked at Christmas as a halfway point in the season, not the All-Star break or whatever like that, because you get a little break in this. But what, Spencer, I wanted to ask you and Sam, as the younger guys here, what do you expect of this Wings team coming out, starting to get a little bit healthy? Is there an improvement that we're going to see here? Do you think that Verona and Fabry will be, infected? Because here's the bottom line. The MVP so far, two of them on the team, is Larkin and Husso.
Yes.
All right, so far this season. That can continue to be the way, but we need a little bit more help in supporting. Where are you guys at?
I for sure think they should come out firing. Obviously, if these guys come back, Verona and Fabry, that's two of your biggest offensive weapons. That's two of your top six forwards. So you put them out there, and you got to be better on offense. You got to be better on power play like they were at the beginning of the year. Their power play kind of faltered a little bit, and playing a factor into that is not being able to get face-offs. But I think adding sniper like Verona and someone with some hands and can make some moves in one-on-one situations like Fabry will help them on power plays. So that'll be a big thing, and I think it'll make it a lot better in those overtime and shootout situations when you have offensive firepower like that, to add to guys that can just score goals, guys that can win in one-on-one situations, in 3-on-3 situations, in overtime, or in shootouts. Like Fabry and Verona are two of your shootout shooters for the rest of the year. So when those guys are back, I think that'll help for sure.
And there's a weird dynamic with the Wings sometimes. I look at them, I said, they're way more dangerous on 5-on-5 than they are with the power play.
Yes, but the numbers tell you that their 5-on-5 play is what needs improvement, being -7 in goals. So,
that's true.
So,
I'm just saying,
so it's and you know what? We've watched this team this year, right? We've watched the inconsistency of it, but we've watched them be consistent at times. I think it's when I look I don't know what I have. Like, I know what I will have in the Pistons, and you tell me this, that it's going to be 2, 3, 4 years. It's going to take time to develop. I know with the Lions and the Red Wings that they're better. How better are they? Well, they don't have the luxury of not being healthy.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is with this Red Wings team, I'm hoping that they can use that Tampa Bay win as sort of a catapult. Let's make this sort of a turning point in the season, coming off of a 6-game losing streak. And obviously the Red Wings, they need Verona back in the worst way. In a 4-game stretch during that losing streak, they scored 4 goals in 4 games, which is obviously terrible. And coming into the year, I predicted that Verona would lead the Red Wings in goals. And obviously the Red Wings haven't had him yet. And Fabry's another one, just another scorer that the Red Wings need. They need to score more. Their defense, I really like what I've seen out of Herodic. Let's hope that Mo Sider and Lucas Raymond can continue. And I wouldn't say they've both had a sophomore slump, but I don't think they've taken that step that I kind of thought that they would. But it's still a lot of time left in the season. They have a winning record at this point, which is I think we would have all taken it. 14, 11, and 7 at the 32-game mark. That's not terrible. I'm just seeing if they can turn this into a season where they're fighting for the playoffs, or that win against Tampa Bay was a little bit of an anomaly, and they start kind of tanking. Tanking's not tanking, but you know what I mean. Just they have sort of that rebuilding season.
Absolutely, they're building towards it, just like
brother man. Why do you think the Wings are so dangerous against Tampa? Tampa's a very good team, but they beat them twice in a row in Tampa, and they look pretty good against it. Yeah, they probably give up more goals than they want to, but bottom line is they go in there and they win. Do you think they match up so well against this team in particular?
No, I think there's something to do with that. You got your ex-coach as their assistant, and you're their assistant as your head coach. There's something in knowing the system and stuff like this. But let's not get overly exuberant about the win on Wednesday at home because Vasilevsky did not play. They played their backup, which also goes to show you what they think of you. So you need to do that, and you know what? They need to be more consistent. Consistency is their biggest, if they stay healthy, being consistent. Sam, to your point, we'll get into the Raymonds maybe on Wednesday and the Cider. Maybe I'll focus on that. And I'm going to show you things that maybe you're not seeing in their development because that they've had to sacrifice some different things. But first, let me tell you, Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for ordering a haircut experience and register for once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win the down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Yes, $200K. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
All right, time to talk about Phillips. No, not former British barrister George Godfrey Phillips, but Michael Phillips, of course. Looking to buy or sell your home? Whether you're a player or a fan, helping you buy, sell, or invest is Michael Phillips' top priority. Being in the game for 23 years makes Mike the #1 option for anyone. If you have real estate needs, call Michael Phillips at 313-403-0011. That is 313-403-0011.
We wind up. A barrister's a lawyer, correct, Terry?
Huh?
Is a barrister a lawyer, Sam?
Yeah, it's something like that. I'm trying to look
that's what I thought. Godfrey, whatever. You always bringing it if you haven't been part of it. Thanks, Mike Phillips, for always supporting us and playing along with looking up the greatest Phillips.
Yeah, thanks, Flannel Sam, for killing Google.
Killing Google, Sam. Attaboy. Anyways, wrapping up today's edition. Neil will be back tomorrow. If you're going to take in the Pistons game tonight, maybe turn on the radio. So
listen to the young man on the radio. So you will get the
subtle tones of Neil Rule on your radio. He is filling in for Mark
I did
Champion.
not plan on listening, but I'm listening tonight, or today, this afternoon, whatever it is.
Absolutely. See that? Even T-Foss. But I think, you know what I like for everybody out there is that it wasn't an overly panic Monday. It wasn't people getting everything into their tizzy. I was a little bit more hurt, as some people were, of Baker Mayfield winning instead of what the Lions did. But again, Terry, I think moving into this week of sports, we know what to expect come Saturday for our Michigan Wolverines and Sunday for our Detroit Lions.
It's a big pre-game week for us.
Big pre-game week. Yes, so Make sure you're checking it out. Like I said, our fearless leader, Neil the Heel, will be in tomorrow. Terry, you're out, right?
Yes.
Tuesdays,
Yes.
no Terry. We will see you back Wednesday. For Sam Flannel, Spencer Roxter, the Terry Foster, I'm Darren McCarty. This is Big D Energy.
Be good.
Deuces. See you later.